Argentina, Tzu Chi volunteers bring new equipment to provide medical services in need. The fall armyworm invades Taiwan and causes great agricultural losses. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Maggie Tai. Thank you for joining us. Tzu Chi volunteers in Argentina traveled 250 kilometers to Gualeguay to hold a free clinic serving 120 patients. They also sent fetal monitors and blood glucose meters, which are the mostly needed equipment in local health clinics.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Argentina traveled 4 hours by car from the capital and finally arrived in Gualeguay. The mayor welcomed the volunteers personally. With many years of cooperation experience, they are very familiar with each other.
We came to host a free clinic today, hoping to alleviate patients' pain and comfort them by love.
This time, volunteers also sent some equipment which are mostly needed by local clinics. For example, fetal monitors and blood glucose meters. Apart from the local medical staff, there are 8 Chinese doctors present at the free clinic to alleviate patients' pain by applying acupuncture and massage on them.
I saw many doctors doing their best to help everyone. The patients are also very glad to have us coming here to take care of them.
The patients outside the clinic were waiting patiently and also actively made donations to the fund bank. Eventually, the free clinic has served 120 patients a day.
In the Philippines, TIMA volunteers often hold free eye clinics to help local impoverished residents. After the Tzu Chi Eye Center was completed, volunteers also prepared a well-known optical instrument company called Zeiss to providing free surgical treatment for cataract patients who couldn't afford the surgery.
Following the footsteps of Tzu Chi volunteers, employees of Carl Zeiss International in the Philippines visit eye patients' home. After a long-term cooperation with Tzu Chi, this is the first time they volunteer to serve patients on the front line.
We choose to collaborate with Tzu Chi since we share the same goal. We want to help those cataract patients who couldn't afford surgical treatment.
53 years old Perla has been a cataract patient for 4 years. After the death of her husband and son, her eye condition became worse and she couldn't afford medical treatment. Tzu Chi provide free surgical treatment for her.
I could hardly describe the feeling that I could finally see. It's a miracle. Thank you for all your help.
In Philippines, TIMA volunteers have provided free clinic regularly for many years. After the Tzu Chi Eye Center in the Philippines was completed, they invited 29 local cataract patients to receive medical treatment.
I really appreciate Tzu Chi Foundation. My eyes wouldn't have been cured without your help.
They hope that they will make this product, quality product lines, more affordable to the community, not only to Tzu Chi, but to other ophthalmology centers, to make it more affordable and accessible to our poor community.
Philippine Tzu Chi Chapter cooperates with local companies, helping eye patients recover from their illness and have a better future.
A large-scale earthquake struck Sulawesi, Indonesia last year, taking more than 2,000 lives. Tzu Chi Indonesia Chapter helped construct 1,000 permanent houses in the area. Volunteers went there to collect data for the affected residents, hoping to arrange a stable home for them in the future.
Praying piously and memorizing loved relatives and friends, residents living in simple houses nearby are chatting together the first year after the strong earthquake in Sulawesi. Tzu Chi Indonesia Chapter is undergoing reconstruction in the affected area.
Apart from severe soil liquefaction, an earthquake also occurred in Sigi Regency, yet it was not affected by tsunami. We plan to divide the construction into 2 stages. In the first stage, we'll build 500 permanent houses. If it goes well, we'll continue to build another 500. The Indonesian Ministry of Public and Housing will also build 500 houses here.
Without the assistance of the central government and many other charities, especially the assistance from Tzu Chi Indonesia Chapter, our local government will not be able to do it alone. Thank you very much for your assistance.
The second verification list includes the affected residents of the 6 most affected villages in Sigi Regency. Surani, who is 40 years old, lost her mother in the earthquake and also suffered from hearing loss in her left ear. Her biggest wish is that her elder father, blind husband, and 4 children can have a stable home.
At the time, I ran out from the kitchen. Then the walls of my house began to collapse and fell on me. That was originally our home, yet we can't go there now.
There were 766 affected residents who completed registration in 2 days. Tzu Chi also sought assistance from other organizations.
When we were asked to help, we agreed immediately since it is also the responsibility of our local people. I told them that we couldn't sit back and do nothing when the people from outside come to help. Besides, we're deeply inspired by Tzu Chi. And it is also a good learning opportunity for us.
After the face-to-face meeting with volunteers and recording their data, the affected residents felt more at ease, eagerly expecting a new home.
At the end of April, a volunteer in the U.S. traveled to Europe with her friends but had a sudden stroke and was sent to a hospital in Spain. U.S. city volunteers soon contacted volunteers in Spain to provide her with assistance. Now that she's recovered, she gave thanks personally at the Tzu Chi ground. It's a touching moment since the accident at the end of April. Tangxing was traveling in Europe with friends but suddenly had a stroke and was sent to Spain for treatment. Tzu Chi volunteer Laura Lane, who traveled with her, asked for help from Tzu Chi.
Sister Wei Ping organized a team of 8 people within 8 hours to coordinate everything. She helped us find volunteers in Barcelona for emergency assistance.
After she woke up from the coma and opened her eyes, all of them were strange faces in a strange environment. I think other than her illness, she was very frightened and anxious.
Volunteers in the U.S. and Spain collaborated to give assistance to Tangxing so that she won't feel scared in a foreign country. After she returned to the U.S., Tzu Chi volunteers and friends in the community took turns visiting her, which impressed her family.
Every day there were a volunteer or 2 volunteers from Tzu Chi that were there with her. Morning and afternoon they were taking shift, and Laura was helping to organize that. I was so impressed. And it's because of that that she recovered so well.
For the past 5 months, the love and companionship from the Tzu Chi family has been the biggest support in her recovery. The 9th Emperor Gods Festival is a very important traditional holiday in Thailand, and last year Tzu Chi Thailand Chapter hosted a 4-day event providing free vegetarian lunches to honor this holiday. This year the event was held once more and many of the residents volunteered to help.
To celebrate the annual 9th Emperor Gods Festival, Tzu Chi Thailand Chapter is once again providing free vegetarian lunch buffet at the Jingsi Hall.
Providing vegetarian meals for the 9th Emperor Gods Festival has become a tradition for the Thailand chapter. It's a good way to promote vegetarianism as well as purifying our spirits.
To provide meals for 4 days, many Tzu Chi volunteers were called upon, and there are plenty of local volunteers as well.
Last year I came and enjoyed the meals, and I wanted to participate like the others, so this year I invited my friends to join.
With everyone coming together to provide this free buffet helps everyone to gain easy access to vegetarian food. The vegetarian selection you've provided is really delicious, and it's also a way to connect with more people.
The vegetarian buffet is very healthy, and those who had a taste praised how delicious it was.
The vegetarian food Tzu Chi provided is good. Eating vegetarian food helps to bring blessings, and I offer my best wishes. May peace and fortune find you well.
It's great. Everything is delicious. All the dishes are savory. Everyone are such great cooks.
Through this 4-day vegetarian buffet, Tzu Chi in Thailand hopes to make more connections with the community, as well as encourage people to adopt a vegetarian diet to reduce the carbon impact of eating meat.
The fall armyworm is a foreign species which was discovered in Taiwan on June 8 this year on a mainly cattle farm. After only a month or two, it has spread to all countries and cities in Taiwan. Even Penghu and Matsu have experienced an infestation, with Kingman reporting the worst damage. The fall armyworm in recent years has swept across the Americas, Africa, and Asia, bringing huge global agricultural losses.
The first case of fall armyworm invading Taiwan was discovered in Miaoli.
This worm has been raging in Africa for a long time and has led to very large agricultural damage.
After it was identified as the fall armyworm, few would expect that within a week all counties and cities would be successfully invaded.
The main crop for the fall armyworm is corn.
Here is a cornfield in Yunlin County. You can see through the camera lens that the corn is planted quite close together. As long as there's one stalk infected by the fall armyworm, it can travel through leaves or soil to other corn plants.
After eggs hatch, the day or larva will use a type of silk and fall into the soil and infect other nearby plants.
Infected corn crops are set on fire and the earth was dug up. Even though it was less than 10 days, adult fall armyworms were discovered, meaning they spawned the next generation. This means second phase of spraying prevention and control began. The host plants of the fall armyworm include 353 types of plants. They mostly prey on Taiwan's cornfields. Experts say that although they love to eat corn, it does not mean that they will not eat other crops such as rice, wheat, and sorghum. It isn't surprising that at the beginning of August this year, Jinmen sorghum fields were invaded. The harm from the fall armyworm has extended from Taiwan to the outer islands of Jinmen. Right now we're at Jinmen's Qingyu. At this 120-hectare field have all suffered attacks from the fall armyworm. You can see from the leaves, and everywhere on the leaves and the body have been ravaged by the fall armyworm.
What he likes most is the tender part of the plant, which is where it is growing, leading this crop to have no value.
This old sorghum farmer in Jinmen has never seen such a creature in his fields. He couldn't think that after 3 days of invasion, the difficult to plant sorghum is almost all destroyed. It has to be tended one by one.
If it gets into the heart of the sorghum and you don't catch it in time, the plant may be dead. How many plants have been infected? Almost all of the crops here.
A fall armyworm can give birth to 100 eggs at a time. It may be able to give birth 10 times in his life, creating more than 1,000 eggs as it is constantly proliferating.
This is Jinmen's Jingning Township, where 60 hectares of sorghum field have been ravaged by fall armyworm. You can see through this lens that there are both large and small fall armyworms, showing that different generations have already been bred in Jinmen.
We are actually very worried that Jinmen will be totally infested, as we need to do spraying in all districts here.
Jinmen, Matsu, and Penghu are all incapable of escaping the fall armyworm. In fact, all the counties and cities in Taiwan have fallen victim. Therefore, the Bureau of Animal and Plant Health and Quarantine and Agricultural Research Center have tested Taiwan and found that the rate of invasion was getting higher and higher.
We overlaid the time of occurrence and the sequence to see its distribution and the changes in migration pattern.
In 2016, the fall armyworm went from the U.S. to Africa and devastated crops. In 2018, they landed in Asia. In January 2019, China's Yunnan was infected. Within 6 months, expanded to 21 provinces. Then Malaysia, Nepal, Jeju Island, and Japan have become epidemic areas. In the midst of a global epidemic, Taiwan is not immune.
Why is it called armyworm? This is because when the autumn harvest comes, it will be a larva and it leaves the host and go inside the soil. Some rows will be covered with this type of larva and it looks like an army of insects.
Foreign invasive species are constantly invading Taiwan, with agricultural losses and ecological impact increasing day by day. The arrival of the latest fall armyworm is proving to be yet another major challenge.
Salmon City in Fujian was severely affected by flooding in May and June. The farmers are facing reduction in harvest and even financial difficulties. Therefore, Tzu Chi volunteers went there to visit every household to assess their needs in order to send aids in the upcoming winter.
The rainstorms in May and June caused severe flooding in Salmon City in Fujian. Tzu Chi volunteers in Xiamen went there to assess the damage after the flooding. After 3 months, they went there again to visit the affected household before winter aid. Salmon City is the rice town of Fujian. Most of the residents live off agriculture and rely on the weather for harvesting. Unfortunately, the floods in May and June might lead to harvest reduction. Volunteers visited the households one by one and recorded the needs of each family.
You have traveled a long way from Xiamen and visited each household. It must be a great help, at least psychologically, to farmers. The winter aid you are going to send should be even a greater help to them.
Tzu Chi is 65 years old. Her husband is bedridden and doesn't want to take medicine. Volunteers help persuade him.
You need to thank your wife for taking care of you. Be good and take medicine.
Nobody chatted with Grandma Xu since her husband fell ill. Volunteers came today to chat with her, helping her get rid of negative emotions in her heart. Huang Changgui, who is 51 years old, was hurt in a car accident earlier this year. Seeing he treated his parents impatiently, volunteers took out Jinxu aphorism to mediate their tense relationship.
We understand that the condition of your body is quite annoying. Sometimes we'd also feel very annoyed when we fall ill, but we still need to talk patiently with our parents.
Every household may have their own sufferings. Volunteers comforted and blessed them during the visit, trying to make them relieved and feel being cared.
Yan Bowen, who is the CEO of Tzu Chi Charity Foundation, led a team of Tzu Chi volunteers to visit 7 seniors living alone in Hualien. Apart from sending daily necessities, volunteers also try to understand their living conditions, making them feel cared and warm.
Before the Seniors' Day, Tzu Chi volunteers visited seniors in Hualien who live alone. Many of them have their own indescribable bitterness, yet the prolonged care from volunteers made them smile again.
Although
the seniors are not wealthy, they often save money bit by bit in the convent for those who need help. Volunteers send daily necessities to each visited household, warming the hearts of the seniors.
We try to communicate with them, hoping to improve their living environment so that their home can be safer and cleaner. We would also like to encourage them to go out and interact with others.
Every senior has their own stories, although some of them are unable to take care of themselves, or with mental illnesses that closing themselves off from the world. The love and persistence from Tzu Chi volunteers can help them live a better life.
Tzu Chi Indonesia Chapter Malaysia held a gathering for care recipients for the first time this year. Besides providing free medical services, the volunteer also cooked vegetarian meal for them.
This is the first time we have been together. Of course, we hope the care recipients from different ethnicities can interact with each other more frequently. I hope they can also seize the chance to witness those who are suffering and learn to cherish their own blessings. Since they can see other care recipients who live a more difficult life or in poor health than themselves, this can inspire their compassion.
The gathering held for Tzu Chi care recipients is combined with free health checks to safeguard their health.
I've been unable to walk for a month due to the pain because my skin is very dry and I always feel tight over my body. The doctor applied a thick layer of moisturizer to my skin and then wiped it clean. I feel much better in less than an hour. I'm very grateful and I also feel very happy.
In a technique class, the volunteers demonstrate how to make eco-friendly baskets and decorations with recycled plastic bags.
If you have environmental handicraft class in the future, I'd like to come and learn to do eco-friendly handicraft, such as basket, animal shapes, and other manuals. This allows us to do small business or other jobs like teaching children or people with physical disabilities.
Inspired by the volunteers' sincerity and companionship, the care recipients want to turn from a receiver to a giver.
Volunteers from Pension Liaison Office often visit me and give me encouragement. I cannot express my gratitude in words. If one day I have the ability, I should help people who have the same fate as me. Just like Dharma Master Cheng Yen said that we can help other less fortunate people with a little money.
The vegetarian lunchbox makes them feel at home.
I'm very happy, really very happy. I've never eaten delicate food like this and received nice treatment like this. It is filled with lots of love.
Thanks to the loving support of the Taipei Youth Stars Rotary Club, the residents of the Happymount colony in Bali, New Taipei City, have been able to take art therapy class and nurture their talents. Let's go to their exhibition.
Using bright colors to fill the page, these are the residents of the Happymount colony. Though they may be mentally or physically disabled, they are great creative souls.
They might be restricted due to their language and mental capacity, but their other sensory sensitivity might be better than ours. A special way to describe them is that they are the original artists, since they were born artistic.
Having a dance party, the Taipei Youth Stars Rotary Club and the residents of the Happymount colony are hosting an art exhibition to fundraise as well as introduce the public to the artistic talents of the colony residents. The colony is also a philanthropic cause of the club.
We hope through this event they can connect with society at large, or even teaching them positivity, in that they can realize they are not any different than the rest of us. Sometimes they may even be better artists than us.
Coloring together and expressing their creativity thanks to the resources in society, these natural-born artists can create and find their own place in the world.
Over 200 elementary students from Indonesia Tzu Chi schools went to the recycling station to learn to store recyclables. Take a look and see you next time.